Welcome back. We are here for one more game for day number 1 of the DreamHack PUBG Showdown, and it is the closed qualifiers. And so far, so good for 3 of our teams at the very top are currently tied with those 48 points. We'll take a look at the standings a little bit later on, but for now, Avenger and Toffees, gentlemen, I know you want to, yeah, okay, I'll look your way if you really want me to.
I appreciate it. No,
these are the people I have to deal with, guys.
Thank you.
I just want to see how it looked, you know.
Yeah, very well done.
I don't know.
We've had some fantastic games for sure. I'm surprised the level of the plays in a close qualifier is already this high. I'm really ecstatic for the last game, and obviously also how it's going to continue on during and throughout the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, again, we're looking at where is this going to go? The big show starts out next week when, you know, the 8 big dogs come in, and these teams have to prepare themselves for that. So they're getting their footing under them. They're getting comfortable with their drop spots. I mean, we saw nobody went to phase. Nobody went to phase's drop and Mills of Power because you're not going to get that in the next stage of the tournament. So maybe train yourself somewhere else right now. I think that speaks volumes to the amount of respect that some of our, you know, tier 1 teams have within the region. And we'll see how it goes. I am worried about some of these Smash Mouth teams who are going to get through based on their ability to sort of dunk on some of the lobby, because that's not going to translate very well to the next round. So you gotta start to sort of see that is which teams get ahead. Are the ones that have a chance at winning in the finals, or are the teams that are going to go in flashy and then sort of crumble when they get there?
One of the teams I'm a little concerned about, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a team like Entropy that has a lot of kind of history to their name when it comes to a lobby like this, I suppose. We saw them in Berlin, you know, and currently they're in 15th place with only 10 points after day number 1. So, Avenger, what do you think about that? And just in general, the current standings as they do sit?
Well, I don't think so much about Entropy right now. I'm very sad to see them down there. Honestly, I was expecting them and hoping for them to be a lot higher, to be one of the top 8 contestants for this particular lobby and this day. But obviously, they are, for me, in my opinion, they are a caliber of team that should be able to, you know, like get it back on the second day and maybe get a really good day and potentially get into a redeemable position, maybe not the top 8, but a position where they redeem themselves and say, all right, hey guys, we're not, you know, outside the top 20 of the close qualifiers. They definitely want to be within that. The rest of the lobby, surprised by Domination Team being up there, a little bit happily surprised to see always rank 1 being up there as well. But sad to see Rahina Game Stars at 7th right now. I expect them to get a really good grip on this lobby, but they haven't really, besides the win they haven't really been able to get the rest of the games really going for them yet. But still 7 games to go for them.
Toffees?
I think it changes. I take nothing away from always rank 1's win, but they have gotten some benefits in the RNG generators to them so far. Rahina, on the other hand, I feel like has been aggressively chasing things, fighting tooth and nail to get what they can. They rotated pretty far on that last one. They had to fight across the bridge. Like, they've had to earn every kind of point that they've moved into, if my memory serves me correctly. So I think in that context, Rahina will climb, right? Because over the course of 12 games, you will eventually, in theory, get your circle. You will eventually get your moments. Always rank 1 has gotten theirs. I think that we saw the guys from Domination have kind of gotten theirs to a certain extent. So those teams are going to slide a little bit, and teams like Rahina, for instance, and I think maybe to a certain extent Mutiny are going to potentially climb because they have been battling to get to their spots every time. I mean, like we said, Mutiny feels like they're always chasing it instead of getting to a comfortable, like getting the circle. They've always been kind of playing catch up. I don't know what happens when the when the Wildcats actually get a circle and don't have to move. what that does for them.
And to that point, actually, that you were mentioning about Rahina, Toffees, I want to talk to you, Avenger, about this, because Toffees is expecting the potential climb from them, and I feel like a lot of us should potentially anticipate that kind of climb, right? These are the ex-Windstrike, Crow Crowd guys, well, to a certain degree, half of them at least, I suppose, to be able to try and push themselves in a lobby like this, Avenger, where they should probably rise to the top.
Well, over the course of 12 games, they are gonna. Like, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind. We're 5 games in. It's been 2 Miramar, 1 Sanak, 2 Wrangel. It's a new Angel as well. So thinking of them, how they usually play when they have like the home turf circles, they haven't had that much success with it. Sometimes they get a great win, sure, but because you're looting Gatka, there's so much kind of ground and area you want to control that you just usually don't succeed with it. So it's usually a rough home circle for them. But over the course of 12 games, I'm 100% sure that, or 99.9% sure that these guys are going to make it through to the top 8. It's just consistency, experience. I'm sure they're gonna push through.
Yeah, I think I see a North Circle and they surge to the top. I mean, if this was some sort of sports betting thing, you'd be like, all right, well, they had some rough start. The odds are not in their favor right now, but they're a team that you can sort of say, these guys are going to come up big. They're going to be worth their share. They're going to make it into the next round, and they're a team that can play in the next round. To me, that's the other thing to look at is which teams go in there and which team can actually take it to teams like FaZe. And to me, Rahina is one of them. They've got the pedigree, they got the experience. They're coming out of Winland. We know that these guys thrive when it comes to PUBG in particular, as well as just FPS in general, and they can do this. So I expect in the next game, if not 2, that they're just going to step up, and we'll see them in the top 5 probably by the end of today.
I think for the top 4, 5, 6 teams from our last game as well, that was an extremely rough circle to watch play out. If you think about, if you think about some of the very last ones in general, there were so many people proning when 6 teams were alive, and that really does speak to how much of a challenge that was, Avenger, towards the end of that game number 5.
Well, honestly, the whole ending, how that is there, and how it's also a new area. It's for me, it's not surprising to see players not be used to having that many players in such a small area, and there was just smokes going all over the place. So I was not surprised to see kind of the passive play from always rank 1, because you want to maintain the control. They knew there were a lot of players left. They knew they just had to third party the last couple of fights, and they will win that. And they managed to also kill off the solos without losing anyone. So I feel like they just played that super well. And yes, it was kind of a chaotic ending, but for them, it was just control, I feel like.
I mean, there's a lot of rat holes in that section of the map, right? So like when you're running late or you're in trouble, you can just sort of send it, hope one guy makes it in and tucks himself into a tower, which we saw out of Mutiny. So there are ways to reserve points, but that makes it tougher for these sort of 2-man or 3-man teams who make it to the end game to lock up the win without taking casualties. And so that's a unique part of that map. And like I said, I think we see it go somewhere else. I think we see a very different style of ending in the next one.
All right, thank you, boys. Last break time here for the day, as we're going to go to that. And when we return, it is game number 6 as we go back to Erangel, the grassy pastures. We'll see you in a few for more PUBG.
Welcome back, guys. It's time for the last game of the day, round 1 of the DreamHack PUBG Showdown. About to hit that halfway point, and this is Group A, B. Tomorrow we're going to be back with a new group, and we've got 3 days of action. My name is Topies. I'm joined by Avenger. Joined by Avenger, and we'll be broadcasting this one for you, and then of course we'll be back on Wednesday for the finals of this stage to do it again. I hope you guys are having as much fun as we are. Martin, I've been wanting to cast a 1-2er with you for a long time. I'm glad we finally get a chance to do it.
It's been a blast, honestly. It's been so fun. It's been so good games to couple with as well. We're going to be ready with the game shortly. And honestly, some teams, not so surprising to see them top. Other teams, very surprising to see them all the way on the top and doing so well. Happy to see Tempest do well, of course, after a great win. We're also surprised to see M-Force doing so well, but happy for them as well, of course.
We've seen teams on top of the league, on top of the format. Let's look at the top of the map as the plane comes in and our teams get ready to jump out. It's a departure from our last 2 plane paths as we go east to west on this one. Again, some early poppers right out of the plane, very, very quickly looking to get to their positions as the bottom half of the map a little bit cut off. And I think we can probably safely say it's not going to be a military circle this time around.
I'm quite sure we're not going to see a military circle for sure. It would be nice to see a nice central. It could be, you could have foreseen it. It could be Rahina Egan starts getting a good western circle, and they're going to be having a great game for themselves.
I think West would hurt them. I think maybe Northwest, something up around shooting range would be great for Rahina. Like you said, I think one of the weaknesses that we've seen out of the Gatka loot sprees is that you stay too long, you loot too long, you're too spread out, and people often crush you. They're forcing you to move early, but in a spot like shooting range-ish area where you don't have a lot of conflict on rotation could definitely set them up for a win. Though I think they're playing good enough, they could set themselves up for a win just about anywhere that isn't Milta Power, which that circle is still technically in play with this plane path, so we could see something crazy like that happen. We'll see it in just a minute. The teams are going to their spots. Again, nobody at Milta Power. Milta pretty far away, so we'll have some teams driving there. So Snovka, not an option for this plane, so some teams feeling a little bit out of place as we see M-Force in the middle, Digital Athletics up there as well, and and it will be all the way to the west. So we have seen polar circles one after another. This is a pretty good one, though, in terms of those teams.
Look at that 1-to-1 hot drop pushing Rahina out of the usual looting grounds. Gatka is taken by Besiktas Academy, and small Gatka as well taken by Groan. So Rahina Ekim Stars, they'll have to suffice with the reminiscences of the trash of the Gatka. Not so bad, though. Jupasik does get a God compound, and Misa does get east of Gatka, but could hurt them just later.
Yeah, the problem is, though, like, look at this. You already have a bit of a push out by IDGAF. I mean, the reality is, in order for Gatka spread to work, you have to have Gatka and small Gatka, I think. The trash around Gatka is great for supplemental looting, but not great for A cars and B, the big dogs. And that's exactly what you see is Besiktas Academy is saying, okay, listen, we're having a bad tournament so far. Let's get out there. Let's get crazy. We know we have guns because we got Gatka. Let's go out and push. And he's going to do that. Nookie out in the open as he tries to find his way to a vehicle or to a second loot option. And that's the nice play by IDJF. He knows you loot both of those buildings in about 42 seconds. If you're good, he's going to be rotating to the next grouping.
Yeah, running away already, connecting just a few. Nookie taking down low. Is able to dodge it? No, that's IDGAF. He's going to take him down. That's Nookie going down early. That's super unfortunate. No help close to help him.
Yep.
So that's
good AK play, by the way.
Oh yeah,
that's not easy. That's not an easy spray to make.
Nope. Yep. Very nice connection with those four connecting shots.
I am no pro, but I would never slap a 3x on an AK and think I could hit that on a spray, and he managed it quite well. So well done, executes Nookie. We wanted to see a good games for Rahina, and it's not gonna. It's a rough start. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen. This was a great circle for them. Unfortunately, what we talked about is what they fell prey to. Gatka is susceptible because you drop a load. Any team that dumps 2 or 3 on you can get themselves a kill. And that's what they did here. Nice play by Besiktas. We see AR1 always rank 1, does force down to Sosnovka. The circle actually works out kind of in their favor because they should be able to make that bridge cross. No one's going to be camping that because they're not going to assume anybody made the long rotation down to Sosnovka so they can loot and make a late transition in. They should be fine as they have all all of this real estate to themselves. Ansvar gives us the flyover tour of the beautiful new revamped military base.
I really like the new military base. It's honestly super well designed. It's very nice for competitive. So much more areas to play and stuff like that.
Very, very nice. Now let's take a look at different parts of the island. You see some quick rotations already by teams like M-Force and EYG. They take a lot of damage, but again, we run out of bullets at the last second as Austrian Force is unable to take EYG down on this push.
I'm not connecting more than just a few bullets onto the car. He's going to get picked up, and they're get out of there on the bike. Sonny, nice pickup with that one. Connecting a few shots. Ooh, that's actually beat him down to half HP with those connecting shots there. But he's going to be out of there. They're going to be making a long rotation all the way up north, close to Stalber, to get out of there and then try to get in.
You can tell Sonny's an experienced player. He knows the best vest is the tier 4 your teammate vest, as he puts him on the bike behind him and says, block these bullets for me, buddy, and makes his way out. Both do manage to survive, and they'll continue the rotation. Digital Athletics gets the north side to themselves. M-Force has made the transition into a decent little spot there. We got a crate coming down just north of them, but they are locking up a little bit with Besiktas. Diamonds coming in to Gatka, as well as all the teams fight to find their spot. Rahina should be okay, as I think they'll be able to get a good location on the map relatively quickly, as long as they get out of the bit of a, looks like they're tied up with
an ALP,
no age limit, please.
Yeah.
They just can't get a break on this round.
No, they're taking the bit that's going to end close to the hospital, already taking the 2 compounds. The D&B compound and the other one with the priority compound. Secure already in that. So they're entangled a little bit, but not completely fighting them just yet. It's 2 good kind of positions to take, but with 3, I'm not sure if that's what they want to go for, though. M4.
They seem to have faith in their ability to 1v whatever, and that's what the spread seems to be implying. Relegats making their rotation with the bright colored guns and the bright colored cars as they move across the field, looking to get themselves up to a little house on the prairie and get themselves a good spot to figure out where everybody else is going at the moment. Going wide of Gatka, taking a look at it as they pass. Let's jump over to the guys that we've been talking about since the start of this game. Rahina, we said they need a circle. They got a circle. They're locking up 2 very important compounds, Martin, but legitimately, can Jubzik like defend this hold if he gets crashed by a 4-man?
I'm not sure. I mean, no, he will not be able to hold this alone, but it has to be, he will not get pushed until circle 3, I would assume. It's a pretty hard compound to, no, it's actually a pretty easy compound to breach. It's a hard compound to hold is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I doubt that anybody's going to like start breaching him at the given time, and I think he'll be joining the other guys before it's too late. They usually like to play together. A 1-2 split is fine in circle 1, maybe circle 2, depending on what's happening. And I don't see NALP pushing them. They're holding a 1-1-2 split with the hospital and the western side of the map, with the Silas holding that down, and then obviously He-Man holding the garage compound down south of the hospital. DA, though, on the top of the hill. M-Force is here on the western side of the little Everest mountain here. More rotations are coming in as well. Domination looks to be pushing Smash. They're taking that compound or chasing him even. They could be taking some shots at him. I'd love to see that. We'll see how the drive-bys are going to happen. That's actually one of the crazy. That's actually one of the crazy things that has really developed the last year and a half. The drive-by kind of shooting, seat switch, the K-Mind.
It's weird that it's come full circle. There was sort of that, I remember when Steel talked about it at our very first pro event, this idea that you want to put everybody in a car together so you can do drive-bys. And then, we evolved into everybody drive their own car. And now it's like, not only do you drive your own car, but you can also kill people from your own car because we're just that good at this point. So PUBG really sort of maturing in the terms of driving and fighting. M-Force up on top of the hill. Smash gets smashed as he comes up over the top. Dogs waiting for him. Does manage to get the flush there. Pews up some grenades. There's the underhanded toss and the overhanded toss to cover near and far as prepare to go up over the tip of the hill. DA nice goes, nice play by Swedish. Smash gets dropped by the nade, or finished off rather. Getting shot from downhill, so they've got to slide back. They can't expose themselves on the right side, which does mean that they have to do sort of a left side fight or a hold. Lowell mounts the rocks, tries to find himself a come around. I think, honestly, this just seems like a good chance to possibly disengage for Digital Athletics.
Yeah, I feel like they have to commit at this point. They're 3 guys strong out there. They don't know how many they're fighting. They have to try to do something with this. But disengage is definitely not. This first circle, they're not sure where it's going to end. We've seen a fair share of Everest endings, so.
Worth noting, M-Force has an advantage. 2 of them are on the Everest, 2 are down below. So the guys down below can see DA and are feeding information to the 2 teams that are up on top. That's how they knew how to set the trap. That's how they knew where to throw the grenades to stop the push from the guys from smashing the boys. So that is just good information exchange coming from M-Force. Now, the next circle is established. Teams know they have to make their rotations. DA falls back a little bit. M-Force will probably collapse together. Meanwhile, the fighting is going crazy as everyone just sprays down. Domination is just stuck in the middle of a couple of teams who are up to no good.
Meanwhile, we also see Mutiny moving in. We see the Wildcats moving into a good position. We see a lot of rotations coming in. Tempus, always rank 1. They're outside the current circle and need to try to get into a good position. Besiktas Academy is sitting in the small guard carrier. Also an ALP.
Strong split.
Strong split. Very strong. They're holding it down very nicely.
It's a big boy split. A little bit dangerous, but strong. They can cover each other from the south entry point. You can see them doing that, making sure that if the hospital gets pushed from the north, they don't have to fight it. They can push away. Trickio is going to come up and check it out by himself immediately. They move along the top bridge to check it out. Trickio's waiting to see if he gets shot at. The upside of that transition is that basically Trickio thought he was free to push into hospital because they had to run from the other side. So Trickio says, oh, nope. Pops up over the top of the hill and can't get away. I doubt there'll be a res there, so Trickio will go down to Silers. That actually was great news for NALP that they had to run back across the bridge. It bought time to let him get into an uncomfortable position. They also know that there's a team on that side and can now defend it effectively. So no age limit. Nicely done as they get the kill and go right back into a lockdown mode.
Yeah, definitely so.
All right, taking a look at Mutiny's got a pretty big spread. Not a bad option for them. I like what Tempest is doing. You know, it's been a long day. We're in game 6. They can look forward to tomorrow. They've got the points. It feels like they're playing a little more passive in this game, saying, you know what, let's get some placement, maybe some kills, but we don't have to force it. We're in a good place to go into the next group. Let's not ruin it.
Yeah, for sure. They can play this as passive as they want. Also, we have a bit of water in the northern side, so if it does swing north and keep some water in, it's going to swing back. So they're pretty confident with that. Repositioning, scouting is see if Gadka clear. That's a pretty good bet, honestly. It's pretty south, and usually people don't play Gadka in the second circle when it's not central. So that's a pretty good scout there. They can pretty much move up from that and try to push. Potentially make a push onto the fields or make a push onto the high ground onto Everest as well. So that's a nice play from them. We'll see how far they get. Relegats though, and as you said before, they're still in North George. I don't know what they're deciding here. If they think they're going to get gate kept on the bridges, there's literally no one there. But they could move out and try to scout a little bit, push in further.
Now we got to jump over to Wildcats. This is where we saw the sort of first break in the game, or first fight in the game break out. They're in a pretty good spot. Not a great loot spot to start, but not a bad place to finish those 2 blue houses because of the trench across the street if you need it. Up on top of Everest, it looks like a scene from Star Wars as tracers, flying all over the place, and M-Force, who collapsed on Everest, is maybe wondering if it was the best idea. They have to lay down, hide behind a rock, and hope for the best as all of their cars are eradicated, eliminated, and extricated from the top of the mountain.
That never gets boring, those tracers. Literally never gets boring. It looks so cool from a range. Ooh, this is a Western Circle. It's long.
This is a Western Circle.
This is a long time ago. I've seen a hospital ending. I could see Rahina E-Game Stars could potentially pick up something big here in ALP with a 2-2 split here. That could be a dangerous 2-2 split now, because now we're in third circle. This is the time where people usually start breaching, try to take over some of the compounds. We'll see what happens with those guys. So Tempest has to make a move, Snip has to make a move, and DA has to make either a macro rotation or a push onto M-Force.
Relegats is finally making the cross. They waited to see what the shift would do. They hoped that EYG would get out of position. So far, it's worked out. As they cut to the right, they'll go in and probably just grab one of these houses. Nope, they're going to go on past. This is a bold move by Relegats as they make a train. But once again, we see Elysium, I think, spreading their bullets, not focusing on one car, and that may be what they needed. Ein Deep, last man. Bad luck.
No, that's unfortunate.
His team stopped there, so he should be okay. He was trying to slide on the side for cover. It was just a big break.
Right, I see. Wow, I haven't mastered that yet. After let's get to take down Nixie, one of our top fraggers of the day from Team Diamond. Meanwhile, they try to make a new position. We also see DA, they actually decided to get off the mountain and try to get into a position. Probably going to take something in South George temporarily. It's definitely not a late game play. We still have some water in play that's going to get eliminated in the fourth circle. Snip is making a big move all the way into the north bridge, taking the western bridge with that tumble, though.
Let's go to TMP.
They've pushed.
TMP was in Gatka. They had to push across that field in the open. They took a lot of fire from Wildcats. Tommel had to stop here because he couldn't make the cross after Wildcats opened fire. Tommel does go down now to Rupture. Bookie trying to defend it from the opposite side, but they've only got 2 left after a very difficult cross. And perhaps their passive play in the early game may come back to bite them in this one as Wildcats take a big chunk out of the Tempest push.
Yeah, and they have to still keep moving because none of them is actually still inside the zone here. M-Force have taken a little divot just south of the triple warehouses in South George. They're playing there safely. They have a split with the guys on the top of Everest still. They're going to be scouting for them. X-Zone still is going to be going away from water. Snip is making their way across. An Australian force is taking shots at Besiktas Academy, which is moving into South George as well.
M4 doing a great job of leapfrogging their duos throughout this match, covering and transitioning, and transitioning. Will it pay off as we continue to move forward in this match? They got a lot of opponents nearby. Austria Force most notably in the warehouses by them. Meanwhile, Snip has made a long north rotation, transitions into a very hot area. Mutiny up on top of the hill, trying to stop the Wildcats as they make their transition. Tommel, by the way, went down, obviously finished off as the blue closed in, but Wildcats are running. They do. We joked about the Ibiza playbook earlier. It looks like the Wildcats are going to try for a recreation of the original play as they create the smoke line to try and get across this field. That was Ibi, right?
That's the exact same spot as well. Yeah, you're
I think so, yeah.
There. Taking some more shots with the 4X SLR. Not connecting just yet. IDGF is going to take down Crowman on the other side of the map.
Yeah, that was that Snip push. Snip was desperately coming in from North George. Not a lot of options. They knew they'd lose at least 1 or 2 on that charge, and so they must. Mutiny up by the tower, having a good little spot. Let's jump in to the city where Besiktas is holding it down. They've been fighting there for a while. Tempest, by the way, eliminated in 16th place. So once again, I've said it, I'll say it before. When your team is ahead, don't pull out the strikers to add a defender. You got to keep playing aggressive. You got to keep playing your game. And you got to try to go for the win. And I think they played a little slow on that one to defend their points, and it didn't really work out. Now, back over to the hilltop where we've got the guys from Mutiny trying to get a little play up. Wildcats come in and go down. Rupture is knocked by Granula there as he crashed into the hay bale and had nowhere else to go. Shot from the side. This is Wildcat style as they come in very aggressively. BSD gets the knock on UX. She created goes down to Granula. Granula's taken out 2 of their number, but the fight continues out here in the wheat field. Not a lot of fun for anybody as the cover is minimal. Fortunately, no cars to destroy hay bales.
No, and here Mutiny. Ooh, that's a nice nade from Dog. Besiktas Academy also taking down Entropy. Granula, see if he can spot one more. He does connect a few as well onto the Wildcats. Ooh, Molotov. The Molotov meta is definitely strong. That is going to be short. He didn't play best baseball when he was young, that's for sure. No. Gonna try to meet a reposition here. Granula, try to get around for this spot. One more Molly is going to go up.
There we go.
That could connect for sure. That was too far. Still didn't play baseball when he was young.
All right, here he goes. Fast. Well, he took the time to change the scope and stays out in the open for the shot, trying to cover his teammates as they come back up. Very exposed on both the right and the left side. Mutiny doing everything they can to hold against the Wildcats. These are 2 teams that we've been talking about throughout the day. High expectations, smash mouth play, coming up against each other 1v1. Not 1v1, 4v4 as the fight goes on. Granula takes some damage on return, doesn't manage to get himself a knock, but it's come down. She created coming forward, puts the work in, and Granula drops. Mover inside of the smoke, last man standing for his team, popping the first aid, but you can see the Wildcats are pushing as Rupture gets the finish on his opponent. Tosses out another grenade. They're coming back and forth right on top. There's the knock. If he can finish off Mover, he can res his teammate. This is a big play for him, but he's on down. Mutiny drops as Wildcats comes out of a significantly worse position and manages to survive a push on Mutiny with 3. Very impressive play from Wildcats.
Super well played by them so far, and that's the story of the whole day so far. Able to come out of clutch positions with so much pressure on them, and they're actually sitting at a very great point considering how this southern place is. Though Justus is going to take down Sinister, finish him off, and also Rafa is going to go down. That is M-Force losing 2.
You know, we thought M-Force's leapfrog looked good. We said the big threat was Austrian Force over in the warehouse because they're forced to move through that area, and they did so very, very cleanly. Now we're left with Dogs hanging out next to a burning car. No escape options, no hope, just a trench and a prayer as he lays there and hopes he's protected. Entropy goes down in 13th place, a little bit outside the box. You can see the live status up on the left side of your screen if you want to check in. The circle comes out, and it is in no man's land. Wide open spaces, hay bales for days, and nowhere that you want to play. You know who won this circle? Wildcats.
They definitely won this, and they potentially also won this game. We've been talking about it. Are they going to win a game today, or are they just going to keep racking up the points by getting high kills, high placement? They already got 6 kills so far. They definitely could hit a double digit again for the 3rd time today. If they manage to do so, that would be very impressive, and they are definitely going to be taking the win of the day if they do.
Very, very happy with their performance. Like I said, it wasn't easy. They made pushes. Copy goes down. Lamont goes down. Cappy goes no age limit, please. Put some work into the cars, trying to make these desperation rotation. Meanwhile, Besiktas is eliminated. Boom goes the dynamite. We also took a loss as Rahina lost some people. Austrian Force, boom, dropped as well as they try to make their rotation. So M-Force somehow outlasts them, I believe. Rahina down in 10th. I was worried about that. They were too spread. The circles kept moving away from it. Just didn't work out. Now we jump over to Relegats, pushing in. Isn't Relegats and always rank 1 seem to be fighting regularly? As it happens yet again. Next trying to move in here and dig him out of the rat hole that he is in. Relegats going to move around the outside. Usage, go ahead. Eagle drops down to Spice. And always rank 1 falling back. Smartly knows they don't want to hold that line necessarily. They want to be together. Next takes some damage from a grenade. Sees him as they make the rotation. Tries to flock off to the other side. Abdallah has the peek. Looking at him for the right side of the wall as his teammate heals. Hits the cover. Space gets next. High Deep gets Space. It's a back and forth trade for trade as Abdallah decides to make the push forward. He wants to catch him off guard. They don't know he's there. He sees the down man. It's called. And the Relegats go down to a very clean push by always ranked number 1. They laid back for a second. They secured the heal from their own teammates, and then they pushed back into the warehouse after faking the extraction. DA takes out the last man from M-Force. I'm not even sure they knew he was there. They just wanted the dip.
They just wanted that dip, and they took it by force. Very unfortunately for
they
M-Force.
Took it from force.
They took it from force. With force. By force. No, very real play. Very clinical from always rank 1 there. Super nice play from them, managing to get 4 guys live. And from that, they might be on the edge, Toughies, but from that position, they can take so much control of this field area.
And it was a good fight. They're going to have that confidence of coming off a win for their next rotation. They heard Digital Athletics move into their spots. They have very keen awareness of where everyone else is around them. Huni's going to go ahead and toss out some smokes to buy himself a little extra space. It's going to become a dip surrounded in smoke to buy some time, but it's not enough as Domination continues to take fire from all over the face. Fast pay Wildcats up in a pole position. They've got a pretty good spot to sit in for a minute or two. The idea here is no one can go to the middle, Martin, so they all have to sort of play this edge, look for casualties, so that when they finally have to move because of the blue, their vector to crawl or find a hay bale cover is okay because there's less people sort of out to that grid around them. So that's why everyone's working the flanks as hard as they can.
Yeah, agreed. And right now, actually looking at the circle, there's actually only 1 player inside the circle. It's only Dog from the Wildcats. Everybody else has to make a move. They have to reposition or try to push in. This means that the North is going to be so congested. We're going to see a fight with always rank 1, Smiley Face, Dills and Legs, and potentially with the no age limit, please, guys, pushing on Team Diamond.
Horseman's going to go down as no age limit, please. Continues to put in some nice work. Digital Athletics with 3 alive as they tuck in next to the dip that they took by force, and they lock it up. Wildcats, Dog SRS. Wildcats still has 4 up as they open up. They get hooked down from DA. Meanwhile, no age limit, please uses 2 people to diamonds. Rotation not working out, and we see again the Wildcats she created gets 2 more players from AR1. Always ranked 1 is dropping fast as they are just caught in the sights of the Wildcats.
They tried to send it towards the center, and it just didn't work for them. He did manage to get 1 kill. Maybe he's gonna get there. Maybe they're gonna be able to take off the rest though. DSD, Wildcats onto Domination. Rupture's gonna finish off Johnsky. We'll see.
How many teams? How many teams is Wildcat fighting at once? As far as like they're everywhere. They're shooting at everybody. This is ridiculous as they lock up their spot. Dom trying to get to them from the north side. Always ranked 1. Did lose 1 player on that transition, but now they got Smiley pushing them from the other side. Team Diamonds is eliminated. Their clarity ceases to exist as we find Wildcats still. We're going to stick with Rupture as he tries to make the flank on Dom. He's going for the flank. He's not staying still. He's playing aggressive. Noise Limit please eliminate in the meantime. He goes for the spray, gets them down, and then Rupture doubles back. These guys are not willing to sit and wait for the action. They make sure that they're taking the aggression. He's got 69 Horse on the right side, not sure where he is. That could be the death of him as he is unable to see him hiding there inside the bush.
He has no idea, but 12 kills so far in a top 5. This could be the game for them. No matter what, he finds one more. That's 13 Toffees. This is crazy for the Wildcats.
You can see the moment where he spotted him. He spotted him at that peak a little while ago and acted like he didn't see him. He turned the other way and ran back to cover, so the 69 Horseman didn't open fire on him. Dog SRS takes out one-tap Zolly, and they are absolutely playing out of their mind right now. That said, though, Smiley Face still has 4 up. A team that had a slow start, sick player, made a sub halfway through the day, looking to try to get themselves back on the board and set themselves up for a big day number 2, which they need to do as they prep for the next grouping. Yellow FTW has been playing strong. Beamy learned a strong lesson up against the Wildcats last time. I'd love to see a rematch at 4-4. They just got to eliminate the men in between them. DA stands in the way of the 4v4 arena final. If they can get them out, get the last man from AR1, that could open us up for one heck of an end to this match.
I really love this pincer move here from Smiley. This is fantastic. Matebane is taking the southern side of this new circle. All the guys is on the west and the north, making sure that they enclose everybody else in a pincer-like move. This is like watching the police move around in a strategical position here. That's so well played for them. Wildcats, though, are taking a car. They are trying to get into this position here, trying to get a new angle from this. And DA is looking to be the loser of this fight here. They are 2 guys alive outside the circle. Everybody looking at them. They're going to be going down anytime soon.
Aggression, aggression, aggression. They're forcing the fight. Always ranked number 1, stuck in the middle of what's about to happen as they just lay low and let the fireworks go off around them. She created, keeping an eye out for his partner as he's in that spot. We do have DA just hiding. They deny. They stay behind the hay bale, say this is not a fight that we're interested in being involved in, though Beamy did manage to get a point off of that one. So we got fast play Wildcats, fast pay Wildcats. They are fast players, though, I'll tell you that right now, as they've got 4 up and the top of the hill. Smiley Face with 4 as well, running pincers, but that does mean that they were split up a little bit and have to find their way back together as they have 1 player far out for the rest of the group. The question is, will always ranked number 1 play spoiler here as he sits right in the middle of the map?
She created 5 kills so far, just found himself a new level 3 vest and helmet with an AWM. Are you absolutely kidding me? They're going to be wrecking this fight. They have to be winning this. Yord has been found.
Go ahead.
Yord has been found on the western side. Rupture and the guys, they are repositioning. Shots are coming out.
She created 5 kills. She created a ton of space for the team out here on top of the map. They're playing aggressive. They're jumping up on cars. They don't care if they go down. They know that they need to get the knocks to win this match. Smiley Face playing aggressively also with a split. Jump back in the car. She created, going to rotate again. Create a nice little car fort here in the middle of the hill and keep overwatch for the rest of the team. Let them know what's going on. That said, we've got the movement in. Wildcats not slowing down, staying ahead of the blue. Always rank 1 is out. It is a 4v4. Wildcats versus Smiley Face. The misses. The exchange is there. The Smiley Face is split 3-1. Wildcats is split in really a crazy formation. I don't even know what the hell they're doing. Nice shot, though, as She Created wants to go for the spray down. Can't quite get it. Bringing in the rest of the team. BSD going to come up next to him as they lock it up. Keep in mind, we do have Magebane over there playing the spoiler role by themselves. Locked up with Dog SRS, waiting for him to show, but he gets lit up. Dog knows exactly where Magebane is. Mage has to fall backwards. Can't maintain. Knows there's no res option if he goes down, so he has to hide behind the rock. Good nade. Would have worked if he had it relocated. Smart play by Mage.
Yeah, really well played by him right here. Meanwhile, they are trying to get in a better position inside the zone. 2 of the guys from both teams are actually outside the connect zone.
Mage is down.
BSD's going to go down. Beamy's going to take down BSD, and Beamy's going to go down himself. This is a 2 versus 3.
So it's 2 versus 3. They lost Mage off. There's no regen option for him, so he is going to get finished off. Nice peek there by She Created, who's been a staple and anchor for this team. Rupture the gunner, still up, looking for a hunt. Yellow FTW and Hort moving up aggressively. Hort says, I got to get up close. I got to get up personal. There's only 2 groups left. It's time to try to put some kills on the board. Meanwhile, Wildcats looks like they're going to go and try to secure the res to get themselves back into this thing. Smiley Face doing so as well as they smoke up on Beamy. Hort going to play the front position, but She Created looks for the flank. Not interested in res, wants to go for the kills, moves around around to the left side. They don't know that he's coming. Switched it over to the 3X and the M4. Comes up on top of the hill, right where the reses just happened. Beanie getting healed back up. Looks like they want to get into the fight. No idea that she created. Make the wraparound. Comes up and opens the spray. Gets the first knock to make it a 2v3. Once again, has to reload, but now York has not a lot of options. The 3X spray is there. Down he goes. The Wildcats 4 up. Only one person left to get through. We said they were going to secure a win if they kept playing like this. Could this be the moment? And it is. Wildcats, fast pay Wildcats, comes out blazing and puts up a massive 19 kill game to end this one, Avenger. What a way to go.
This is just what we wanted to see from the Wildcats. Absolutely amazing play from them. 7 kills on Sheet Created, 6 on Rupture, PSD, Fallen Dog 2. Insane game. What a perfection, execution. Everything was just perfect for them to come together with this game here, and with 19 kills total. What an amazing game.
They took their spot. They stopped the push by Tempest. They eliminated them. They had to push across an open field to dig, I believe it was Mutiny, out of that position that they ended up winning from. They fought across the open. They lost people. They lost utility. They somehow survived that one. Then they held. They got pushed from domination from the right side. They didn't stay still. They drove a car down and said, screw you. We're taking the fight to you. They eliminated them. They never stopped moving, and it worked. And man, did it work big. This, I think, puts them probably in first place 100%. Coming out of today, in probably one of the best performances I've seen in the tournament so far, if not in a while.
Yeah. This is probably one of the best performances I've seen in a PO6, honestly. 2 second places with 10 kills, a first place with 19, and some decent placements on the other 3 games with kills as well. Perfect play so far, and what a great day for them overall to play.
Not too shabby. Awesome stuff. We're going to come back one more time and talk with Qualifiers about what we have, but I'm sure we'll be talking about the fast pay Wildcats even more after such an incredible performance and some of the teams that didn't do so well that we were hoping to see. My name's Toffees. I'm joined by Avenger. You know, we're going to be casting again on Wednesday for the finals of this round, and then kicking off the next round as well the week afterwards, and 7 days from today. So stick around. The tournament's only going to get better from here. I can't wait to see what happens next, but for now, let's hear from those who made this tournament possible.
Let's take this underground. You want that other sound? I've got the best around. Nobody ties me down. Don't wanna mess with me. I'm dangerous, you see. Nobody disagrees. I bring the cavalry. I'm at the top, you know. So far from head to toe. Let's swing from high to low. So high, so free, 'cause I got that. Let loose, just let it go. Don't need nobody, no. Sit back and watch the show. So high, so free, 'cause I got that. I'll never fade away. My spirit never breaks. No rules that I obey. I'm doing it my way. I'm at the top, you know. So far from head to toe. Let's swing from high to low. So high, so free, 'cause I got that. Let loose, just let it go. Don't need nobody, no. Sit back and watch the show. So high, so free, 'cause I got that.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, here to the DreamHack PUBG Showdown, as we have concluded our 6 games for today, as A and B went head to head. And it is no more apt at the very end that we see Fast Pay Wildcats getting themselves the victory after a great day of games. Joining me, Avenger and Toffees. Avenger, starting with you. It really is, it's so earned is the best way to describe it here by this team.
I mean, honestly, how they're able to perform throughout the whole days, 2 second places, a first place here, and some decent placements and kills in the other games as well. One of the best performances I've seen in a best of 6, especially in an open qualifier kind of format going into a close qualifier. It's against teams you can hardly prepare against. It's one of the kind of hardest trials to go through is to play against teams where a lot of random stuff is going to happen that you can't really predict. So them being able to play at this level here just shows that they're definitely one of the top teams in this close qualifier.
I mean, at the end of the day, they never stopped. Like that match was, they earned that win, right? Often we see teams that sort of get the circle and have a good defensive position, and they knew the only option was to take the radio tower or cell phone tower, whatever it actually is. And they fought the teams that they needed to get it. And every time someone tried to push them, they released and eliminated them. And the danger of that spot for me, Avenger, is you can often get crashed by more than one team at a time, right? Someone takes that dip sort of down to the north of it, and if you let them sit there too long, you get pushed from the south, and you get sort of sandwiched between juggernauts, like we kind of saw M-Force happen to them on the military island last game. They didn't allow that. They made sure that the second somebody tried to push, they released, took them out, and then returned to their position. So there was never a chance to be triple teamed if you make sure that the one team that shows up is dead before anyone else can even realize there's a fight going on. And I really respected that play.
They managed to salvage so many situations where you would either counter them out or expect them to lose 1, 2, 3 guys, and managed to get 2, 3, 4 guys up on their feet again and make a good macro move, make an aggressive play that just played out well for them and put them into positions again and again where they were just in a better position or just a better player in the 1v1 duels as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think you nailed on the head. The amount of fights they got in that I was shocked to see them get everybody back up was mind-boggling to me, right? Like, they were taking knocks left and right. Those guys, I mean, their knock timers had to have been minuscule by the end of this round because every time they took a fight, they were trading. But somehow there was always the protective element. One guy would push forward, they had the smokes ready, and the reses followed. And it was really beautiful.
Yeah, they went through the ringer for sure. I mean, you don't get 19 kills in the end, but without actually going through that kind of distance, I suppose, right? Eventually, it's all down to the fights.
No, I mean, it's rare that obviously sometimes you can have a banger of a game where everything just works out for you. But doing it 3 times in 6 games is just crazy. This game here was an example of a clinical display of just how to play this game with the knowledge you have of your opponents and the knowledge you have of the map and overall just complete control of everything, I feel like.
I mean, with 2 second places, with 10 kills in those second places, Toffees, they're probably looking at today thinking, we should have had more first places. We should be even further ahead at this point, surely.
Yeah. I mean, I think, yes, hopefully they've got the attitude of, I will say this, they definitely won some fights that could have gone either way, right? When we talk about that military-based game. So I think that they're going to be happy. It's going to be, man, we could have got more first, but also, man, I can't believe we played that well, right? Like that last circle was a dumpster fire of a circle. There was no cover there. It really was. And both those teams, I think, Smiley Face, to their credit for not having Mole Man with them and to sort of having a rough start to the day, they played that really, really well. So those are 2 teams who took lemons and really made lemonade out of it.
And here are the standings. Fast Pay Wildcats is up way at the top with 77 points. A huge leap for them ahead, considering we had 3 teams at 48 points, and then all of a sudden now that difference, that space has been created, Avenger.
That is a lead that is probably going to make them top 8 no matter what happens on the last day. They don't play tomorrow. They're playing on Wednesday again, so they're going to have the rest of the weekend off, and then they can look at the games tomorrow and kind of prepare for, just dab on everybody on Wednesday. They can do whatever they want. They're going to be so far ahead, it's going to be not even funny for the other guys.
Toffees?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They're going to get some time. They'll take a break. They get a chance to watch their opponents play. On the other hand, we'll have time for other teams to adjust to them and say, okay, this is what they do. This is how aggressive they are. I know now that if I hear them get a knock to my south, they're probably coming.
Yeah.
And adjust the strategy to deal with their specific style of play. So the advantages that Wildcats seems to have right now, I think will be significantly less impactful next time they come back to we see them play.
Yeah, great for our top teams so far. Some of our teams towards the bottom going to have to really step things up. We have seen crazier recoveries in the past Avenger, but it's a tall order against the teams in question.
We've seen some crazy recoveries, but again, if a team that you wouldn't expect being able to put out 77 points in 6 games, if they can do that, I'm not going to count anyone out until the last day. I'm excited to see Wednesday. I'm excited to follow tomorrow, but Wednesday is going to be crazy. There's going to be teams that is playing their second day. They're going to be far behind on the leaderboards. They're going to have to fight their way and kind of pass some of the guys that are in the top 8. It's going to be a super exciting format to follow.
Toughies?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, honestly, I think that's what it comes down to. Is it's these kinds of group formats are a lot of fun. I like watching the final day. I feel bad for the team that has to sit out the final day and sort of put their destiny in other teams' hands, because that's a very stressful situation. So that's what you need to see tomorrow. The teams that come tomorrow that are playing, specifically, I think it's A that's not going to be playing on day 3. They need to have a big day tomorrow, because they don't have a way to make a statement when their chips are down on the final day. So tomorrow, look for some desperation from those teams that don't have a chance to play on Wednesday.
So just to kind of recap those teams that are actually in Group A, it is playing tomorrow. Entropy Gaming, Always Rank 1, Domination Team Mutiny, Team Diamond, Relegats, Besiktas Academy, and Austrian Force. So when you think of those names, there are quite a few in there that really have a lot of legwork to be done tomorrow, Toffees, to try and get themselves in a good spot.
I mean, but that's it. Is we're only halfway through, right? The curtain hasn't dropped. No one's sung any ballads at this point. Get out there, play your game, figure it out. And honestly, tomorrow's a new day. I think that they can do it. We saw teams, like you said, put up massive numbers today, even when their backs was against the wall. So I think that we have the potential for those teams to come back and do it. Based on their play today, I don't know if they will, but we'll see.
Avenger, I see you studying something. What are you?
I'm looking at all the damage numbers, and like I see Dog SRS he has the Forrest Gump trophy. Like, he's been running the furthest on foot. So it also talks to how much they're kind of the micro they've been doing, and also the on foot infantry movement has just been on point. Like, being able to survive for so long, obviously getting to second place 2 times and first will obviously give you a lot of kilometers ran, but it still talks to you being able to kind of outplay and reposition yourself a lot to be able to survive for a long time. So it's very nice to see.
This is when you know we've spent too much time together, and when I can look at you and know what you're doing just without seeing what you're up to.
Well, the eyes, the way that his eyes sit when he's reading a meme versus reading a statistic is 2 very different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can see the cogs working.
Yeah, exactly. Though it's like 50-50 as you're reading a meme or reading statistics. You never really know.
Right.
Gotta love it.
Also, Rupture and She Created is tied first with kills, 15. Clip also has 15 kills, but they both have 15 kills as well. So that's pretty impressive.
Oof, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So looking back at today, we've actually had an extremely wide variance of, say, circles, for example. I feel like a lot of the games have been quite aggressive for the most part. What are your thoughts looking back through today for our 6 games?
I mean, I think for me, I'm frustrated that Rahina's wasn't able to rise up on the circle that they finally got. Unfortunate Besiktas dropped into Gatga with them, but at the end of the day, like, this is pro PUBG. If you aren't prepared for somebody to show up in your loot spot, then that's on you. And it seems like they just got caught out. And I think it mentally never really bounced back from losing that player right out of the gate. Hopefully they go home and they reset and come back. But to me, I do think that a lot of the teams that I expected to do well were challenged by the circles today. They were not easy. They were a lot of strong, especially in Erangel, like sort of polar rotations. And I do know from my experience that teams sometimes let that get to them. They start to get frustrated and feel like we're always chasing. We just can't get a break. And that sort of starts to sink in over time. So that was, to me, the big takeaway is the teams who had the mental tenacity to bounce back and not let it get to them versus the teams that you could see them getting frustrated.
Sure. Avenger?
Well, obviously, there's multiple things to take away. Like you can start off with a really bad game, and then you come back and then you have a great game. But there's so much things, like the preparation going into this is so much harder. Like you'll have to play it very reactive, taking into consideration. Like it's not something there's not teams you're used to playing against. It's not teams that you scrim against. Usually, you don't have any warm-up matches to play against these teams. So it's the teams that are the fastest and the best at adapting to the situations, what is happening in front of them, also map to map, but also current in game and how fast they move in the decision making is super important, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. So we're just looking at the standings once again to recap exactly what has gone down so far. Fast Play Wildcats have rocketed ahead in first place. M-Force is in second place right now with 52 points. They're slowly solidifying themselves in what would feasibly be a top 8, but of course maybe a little bit more work to do just to get themselves right there. And then we are actually just waiting on an interview, I'm being told, with Rafa himself from M-Force. We actually reached out to Fast Play Wildcats, but they were not keen on doing an interview because they don't feel that their English is right there for us. So that's fine. We don't want to be forcing people into those situations by any means. So excited to hear from Rafa from M-Force. Toffees, see what he has to say.
I am. I think that they played well today. I think that they had some challenges that kept popping up. I mean, getting that, I think I hiken back to that military circle where they sort of got smashed between Diamonds and I forgot who the other team that was to push them. It was Rahina. Rahina and Diamonds pushed up over the top of the hill and they just kind of got decimated. They had the same issue when they sort of had to make that long rotation down by Milta and sort of take the high ground there. And what do you do, right? Like there's not a lot of options. So they're a team that I think has potential, but it's just been kind of coming up against, I don't want to say a raw deal, but it definitely feels that way.
Yeah, for sure. All right, another thoughts whilst we were just chilling, waiting?
I mean, there's a lot of data to look at and a lot of stuff to look for tomorrow. Just kind of curious to see how some of the players are. There's obviously some players that are not surprising. Sparking number one on average damage dealt. It looks like.
I don't know how to do the interview.
Yeah, it's cool to see how some of the teams they're able to. First of all, it's sad to see that we had to have some stand-ins. There were some unfortunate situations. For Mallman, I hope you get better. It's sad to see that you were playing without being able to talk. It's pretty crucial to be able to communicate in the game of communications. So happy to see them step up in the last game here with a fourth player that are able to talk and communicate. Hopefully, with this kind of ending for Smiley Face, they're able to step up when they play the next. I'm not sure if it's tomorrow or the last day. They're playing the last day, so they have a break tomorrow. They can get their stuff together. Maybe Malman can get better, and they'll be able to play with their full usual lineup on Wednesday.
I mean, I don't think I have a lot else in that context. Of just we saw teams sort of get to cut their teeth at a higher level right now. I mean, this was an open qualifier in the last round. We had a lot of lobbies going, and we had a lot of people. I don't want to say they were playing their first competitive matches, right? They've probably played other things before, other opens. This is the second round, though. This is where you start to run up against teams that know what they're doing, teams with experience, teams with pedigrees. And it's your first sort of signal fire for what's going to happen as you move forward. You still have to get to the next stage. You have to play through the next stage to get to the finals. And that signal fire to sort of go back after your first day of matches is the advantage of playing on day one and go, okay, it's getting harder. What are we doing that will not allow us to stay competitive in the context of the play speed we're seeing now? I think come back stronger tomorrow. And I think so don't write a team off because of a bad day one. A lot of them are playing well outside of what they're used to in terms of speed, skill, and general map knowledge within the group. So maybe that's the opportunities for those bottom teams to say, you know what, we learned a lot. We're better, we're stronger. And honestly, when we look at the future, we've got the continental like charity cups and other things that are going to have open qualifiers as well.
Right.
Take this advantage, learn what you're doing, go home and take out a notebook and write everything that you failed at today, and then get ready to train that out so that next time you're ready to step up. There's never, as long as you get the experience and you learn, opens are never a bad thing for your team.
Well, gentlemen, it seems that we were going to have Rafa. However, he was so keen to get into another game he kept playing. So we're not going to have Rafa. These guys, grinders, man. That's how it's going to go. Hopefully they're able to do well in their next group, and then we can potentially actually hear from him anyway. We shall see how that goes. But for now, thank you very much, guys. Any last words before we sign off, Avenger, starting with you?
No, I think it was, well, yes, last words. I think it was been a great opening to the tournament, like a great start to the tournament. I was surprised to see the level already coming out so highly. So I'm excited to get it continued. Looking forward to see it tomorrow, obviously, and also looking forward to casting on Wednesday.
Toughies?
I'm excited that we have found a way to stay together despite having to stay apart. It's great to be back with the two of you guys. We've been together for a long time. Super excited to have a chance to do some play-by-play for the first time in a while. I hope that everybody enjoyed that. Martin, thank you for giving me that support as we ran through it. And I hope that all you guys at home, thanks for hanging out with us. And I mean, keep staying safe, keep staying healthy, keep staying home, and let's beat this thing together. Not just PUBG, but you know, everything else going on.
We had a great time. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And thank you to DreamHack as well, the production over in Sweden as well. Fantastic stuff from them. We shall see you same time, same place tomorrow, where I will have 2 new people joining me here to figure out how all our groups are going to go down for the closed qualifier. See you tomorrow for more DreamHack PUBG Showdown.